Welcome to Home Brewing Made Easy with Ryan Grains. I'm your host, Ryan Grains. In this video, I'm going to show you how to get the tools and the equipment so you too can make your own tasty brews from the comfort of your own home. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you've had a microbrew or 6, and you're thinking to yourself, hey, these taste pretty good and I could use a new hobby. Well, let me tell you just how easy that can be and where you can get the supplies to do so. You're going to need to find yourself a brew supply company. That's easily done by Google. You'll find one close to the house, or you can order online. Most of these places deliver right to your door.
Most starter kits will come with your first batch of beer, a 6.5 gallon fermenter with lid, bubbler airlock, a spring tip bottle filler, bottling bucket with spigot assembly, stirring spoon, tubing, no rinse sanitizer, bottle brush, capper with 60 caps, printed instructions. Recommended add-ons would be a wort chiller, a thermometer, a 6.5 gallon fermenter with lid, bubbler airlock, a hydrometer to test the gravity of your beer to calculate your alcohol by volume or your ABV.
There are far too many beers out there that you may like. Get out to those brew clubs, try them. They do them in flights. They'll give you 4-ounce glasses, cost you very little, and you get to try which types of beers make that palate sing. Those are the ones you're going to want to try. Get out there, find which ones you like, and play with it. Do it. You're going to love it. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, I'm your host, Ryan Grains. Cheers!
Welcome to Home Brewing Made Easy. I'm your host, Ryan Grains, and on today's episode, I'll be brewing Northern Brewer's Mexican Hot Chocolate Stout. In this batch, the malts are 6 pounds of gold malt syrup and a pound of gold light dry malt extract. The steeping grains are 1 pound of chocolate malt, a half pound of caramel, and a half pound of roasted barley. The selected hops for this beer are 1 ounce of Columbus. Our other ingredients are a pound of lactose, an ounce of cinnamon, 1/4 ounce of de arbor chilies, and 4 ounces of cacao nibs. The yeast and priming sugars are purchased separately from this batch. Ask your brew supplier which one you want, or if you're online, it will give you a suggested yeast and sugar. Upon delivery, put the yeast in the fridge until ready. Start heating up about 2.5 gallons of water. I like to use distilled or purified water, but you can also use tap water. Pour the grains into the supplied mesh bags and tie off the ends. Steep the grains for 20 minutes at 150 to 160 degrees. Remove the grains, drain, and discard. Bring to a boil. Remove from heat and add the gold malt syrup. I like to heat up a cup or 2 of water and use it to get all the malt out. Now add the lactose and the dry malt extract, but be careful with the dry ingredients. Steam is not your friend. return to a boil. This mixture is now called the wort. We're going to boil the wort now for 60 minutes. With 10 minutes remaining in the boil, add your cinnamon sticks. When the 60 minutes is up, you want to cool the wort down to about 100 degrees as fast as possible. This is where your wort chiller comes in. You can also place this into a sink packed with ice. While the wort is cooling, you want to sanitize your fermenting equipment. Fill the primary fermenter with 2 gallons of water. Then pour the cooled wort, leaving any thick sludge behind. Add more cold water to top it off to 5 gallons. Using the hydrometer, measure the gravity of the wort and record it for later. Pull the yeast from the fridge. Once the temp is lower than 70 degrees, add the yeast. Seal up the fermenter. Add 1 tablespoon of water to the airlock and insert into the lid. Move to a cool, dark place while fermentation begins. Active fermentation should begin within 48 hours. The gravity should steadily drop throughout and you should see bubbles from the airlock. Try to keep the temp between 62 and 70 degrees. Let this happen for about 2 weeks. The day before, secondary fermentation, add the cacao and the chilies, removing them from the seeds, to a container and add enough high-proof alcohol to cover and set aside overnight. Siphon from primary to secondary. Add cacao chili mixture directly to the new beer. Allow this to condition for an additional 2 weeks. This has been the brewing of a Mexican hot chocolate stout. I'm Ryan Grains. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers. Welcome to Homebrewing Made Easy. I'm your host, Ryan Grains. This episode is going to focus on cleaning and sanitization of all the equipment and tools you will need from start to finish. Start by mixing up your sanitizer. You may have received a powder form of this, which will work just as well as this liquid version that I have picked up. Follow instructions on how to mix. I have placed some of this into a spray bottle for easier coverage. For all of the main equipment, grab a soapy cloth and wipe everything down. Rinse each piece thoroughly. Make sure to rinse and sanitize all equipment, including the scissors used to cut open yeast and the malts and hops. Use the spray bottle and spray the equipment, making sure that it looks wet. Set aside, allow it to dry. There is no need to rinse, use sanitizer. You're going to want to clean and reuse bottles for costing. This piece of equipment is the bottle washer. Attach this to your faucet, turn on the water. The pressure of the water will keep the valve closed. Take the bottle from your box and push it onto the top, and water will forcefully rinse the bottle. Be sure to look inside the end of the bottle to make sure that any sediment from past batches has been rinsed thoroughly. After rinsing the bottle, use a fermenting bucket and put a decent amount of sanitizer in the bucket. Make sure to be deep enough to submerge your bottle. Put the bottle in, swish it around, and drain it and put it on the bottle tree. This has been a cleaning and sanitizing tutorial for your brewing equipment. I'm Ryan Grains. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers. Welcome to Homebrewing Made Easy. I'm your host, Ryan Grains. In this episode, we're going to focus on the step-by-step process of bottling and capping your now fermented and conditioned beers. In a different video, I covered the cleaning and sanitization process of your equipment and bottles and caps. Please refer to that before continuing. Put together your bottling bucket and space. Be sure to make it as tight as possible to stop any leaking while you bottle. Prepare your priming solution. For the purpose of this video, I am using a priming sugar purchased from the Brew Supply Company. Bring 16 ounces of water with the priming sugar to a boil. Remove from heat and pour directly into the bottling bucket. Take the final gravity of your beer. Record it next to the original gravity so you can calculate your ABV, or alcohol by volume. Siphon your beer directly into the bottling bucket. I start my siphon about 2/3 of the way down the bucket and slowly move to get as little sediment as possible. If you have used something to condition that might still be floating, you can siphon beer through a small sieve to collect the debris. Once transfer is complete, give the beer a gentle stir to mix the solution throughout. Be sure not to splash. Find a good spot to place the bottling bucket so you are comfortable during this process. It isn't quick. Attach the rubber hose to the bottling spigot and bottling wand. Tilt the bottle slightly, as if you're pouring a cold beer into a glass. Insert the wand and start to fill. If you fill to about the top of the bottle with the wand inserted, when you pull it out, it should settle at a nice level in the bottle. Set aside and do this 47 more times. The 5 gallons should have filled 48 bottles nicely. Grab your bottle capper and sanitize caps. Take the first bottle and give yourself a little room. Put a cap on the bottle, place the capper on top and gently push down. Move aside and repeat until all the bottles are capped. Now that it's capped, for conditioning, you're going to want to store the cases in a warm place for up to 1 to 2 weeks. This has been a bottling and capping tutorial. I'm Ryan Graves. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.